What do you mean, quote unquote, I'm being humble? My brother, you're not being humble. What's happening is you're being humbled. There's a difference. And it goes back to this. Cormani just makes himself look even worse and worse and worse. How do you have more Instagram posts than appearances in college football games? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hope all of you had a great week. Hope all of you are having a great Friday. If not, hope this video can make it a little bit better. We got a very interesting situation to talk about and go over in today's video. But first things first, we got to address this. So yesterday we talked about Tennessee, and this was the top like comment on that video. Over 130 likes. Matt gave Diddy all the baby oil. There's nothing to be said about it. I don't know how one would go about responding to it. But I don't know what baffles me more. The fact that somebody would write this comment or the fact all of you are liking it. But this one I'm about to show you next is the one that really pissed me off. This is coming from Paradise Dreams. Hey Matt B. Diddy, what do you think about having college players sign contracts with teams so they can't bounce every year? My brother in Christ. What do you mean, hey Matt B. Diddy? Does my channel name say Matt B. Diddy? Is it just my phone that says Matt B. Great? Why are you, this person is literally asking me a serious question, saying, oh yeah, hey Matt B. Diddy. No, we're not doing this. Seriously, do you understand how crazy it is to even mention me and Diddy in the same conversation? That dude is one of the freakiest guys to walk on this planet. And y'all are over here in the comments like, hey Matt B. Diddy, what's going on, man? Like, no, we ain't doing this. Y'all are taking that way too far, but that's besides the point. We got to lock in. We got to get down to business to talk about what in the world is going on with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Cormani McClain. Obviously being a little sarcastic there. Cormani McClain, I wouldn't call him famous. He's more so of infamous. Throughout the offseason, the most fascinating thing going on was the Cormani McClain lore. We've made quite a few videos on him and done some updates, but we haven't talked about him in roughly, I'd say, I don't know if it's been 2 months, but I know it's been around 6 to 7 weeks. Actually, it might have been 2 months ago, but the point is, it's been a while. And I'm not going to sit up here and give you the entire run through what's been going on with Cormani up until this point. If you want to know more details, go watch some of the previous videos. I'd be willing to say 99% of you watching this video, you're caught up to speed on Cormani. However, with that being said, bear with me. Remember, we do have new people coming to the channel every single day, and maybe some people, they haven't watched our Cormani video and they don't know what's going on. So due to that, I will give you a brief summary. All you need to know is Cormani McClain, coming out of high school, was a top-rated recruit, 5-star, and the #1 quarterback in the nation. He was a prestigious recruit. Everybody and their mama wanted him, but long story short, he goes to Colorado and teams up with Coach Primetime. Crap hit the fan there, wasn't showing up to classes, late to meetings, didn't show up to meetings, and at practice, well, not only was he late to those and late to workouts, but apparently, he was also hiding in the bathroom, skipping workouts. There's a lot to it. And I say apparently, but it wasn't even apparently. He was doing that stuff. He wasn't working hard at Colorado, so Deion Sanders didn't play him. And the media's confused, and everyone in the nation's confused as to why Cormani, #1 cornerback in the nation, is not playing. So they asked Coach Prime, hey, why isn't McClain playing? And Coach Prime told him straight up, and you got to admire Prime for this because he tells you how it is. Oh, yeah, he's not working hard. And the only person, is what he said, word for word, the only person who can save Cormani McClain is Cormani McClain. He's got to help himself. Never got his act together, wound up entering the transfer portal, made this YouTube video where he threw Coach Prime and Colorado under the bus, and he enters the transfer portal. When he entered the portal, he was in for a rude awakening because not too many teams were pursuing him. He was barely getting looks from schools like USF, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but that is crazy for a 5-star recruit that everybody wanted to not even get looked at from your Georgias and Alabama and just big Power 5 teams anymore. And it was due to one thing and one thing only. These teams were scared to take a chance on him because he had a lazy work ethic. Eventually, though, news would come out that he's going to go to Florida. But here's a kicker with that. It wasn't on scholarship. He was a preferred walk-on. Yes, that is right. You heard me correctly. Former 5-star recruit Cormani McClain walked on at Florida. Although it is labeled as a walk-on, his scholarship is being taken care of in the NIL department. But it still doesn't take away from the fact that he was and currently still is a walk-on. And a lot of people felt like this is his last shot. This is his last chance. If he doesn't do anything at Florida, it might be all but over. I know that was kind of a lot, but think about it. I just explained to you what's happened in the past 2 years in, what, 4 or 5 minutes? There's many more details I left out, but you get the point. That's where we're at. Cormani McClain, He shows up to Florida, and this is his last chance. Well, here we are. We're heading into week 4, and if you're a college football fan, you haven't heard of anything in regards to Cormani McClain. And the reason for that is fairly simple. He's not playing. But not only is he not playing, he's not even close to sniffing playing time. In Florida's first game against Miami, McClain wasn't even listed on the depth chart. Do you know how low on the team you got to be to not be listed on the depth chart? He's essentially a practice dummy. And up until this point, he hasn't been listed on any other depth charts, and it doesn't look like he's going to be anytime soon. With that being said, you may be asking, okay, Matt, well, what does this mean? And that's a great question, my friend. I have an even better answer. It means, I don't want to sound sarcastic when I say this, it's not looking good for Cormani. Let me make this clear. I didn't expect Cormani McClain to turn into the second coming of Travis Hunter when he got to Florida. No. But the fact you can't even get listed on the depth chart? My brother, what is going on? And we're talking about Florida. Not only does their team suck currently, but their defense sucks. With that being said, we can put some context clues together and try to form our best educated guess as to what's going on. Pattern recognition is a real thing. Cormani McClain is known for not having a good work ethic, skipping classes, skipping meetings, being late to all that stuff, and so on, so on. All this stuff he did at Colorado, he was doing the same stuff early on when he got onto campus at Florida. They already got onto him for that, and we made a whole separate video about that in the offseason. So here's my question. I have no idea if you're close to the Florida football program. Let me know. Is Cormani still having those problems? It's either one or two things. A, he's just simply not that good, and that's the worst case scenario. I'll explain more on that in just a second. Or B, he is still acting the same way he did at Colorado. The reason I say if he's not good enough, that's worst case scenario, because you can't fix that. If you're not what you were hyped up to be and you're not talented, well, that's just the end all be all. I'll give you a great example. Who has a better chance of making it to the NBA? A 5'7" basketball player who's really skilled and stays out of trouble, or a 6'8" basketball player who's really skilled and stays in trouble? Although the 5'7" basketball player is skilled and doesn't get in any off-the-court problems, it doesn't matter because he's still not going to make it to the league. At least with the 6'8" guy, it's not a size, skill, or talent issue. It's just, okay, you're getting in some trouble, hanging around the wrong people. You need to stop that. As where it stands right now, it's probably a combination of both of those things, and normally that's the best answer and best choice to go with. But hold on, my friend, it gets even better. On Instagram, Cormani McClain posted this. It's now deleted, gone, whatever you want to call it. I'm being humble right now, but eventually, everybody got to pay. You don't got to be a rocket scientist to try to figure out what he's talking about and what he's referring to. His situation at Florida. And it goes back to this. Cormani just makes himself look even worse and worse and worse. What do you mean, quote unquote, I'm being humble? My brother, you're not being humble. What's happening is you're being humbled. There's a difference. You know that one meme, I don't want to sound too corny when I say this, but the dude in the grocery store says, "You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy." Same thing here for Cormani. And I'm talking directly to you, Cormani. You're not that guy. You were the guy/man in high school, but not anymore. You're a has-been. This isn't you being humble. You're getting humbled. I just can't believe you had the nerve to even post this. And then the second part, I didn't even address this, but eventually everybody got to pay. Like he's some villain. Get out of here. Everybody got to pay. You know what? How about this, buddy? How about you make the depth chart first? Genuine question, Cormani. How do you have more Instagram posts than appearances in college football games? This comment describes it best. Ain't nobody do crap to him though. Imaginary enemies, people want him to do well. I couldn't have said it any better myself, and we all know a person like Cormani, where they think everyone's preying on their downfall and everyone's out to get them when they're not. Cormani, you're not some evil character in a movie, and people aren't criticizing you because they despise you. They're criticizing you because you haven't lived up to the hype and expectations. And the thing that really gets people and it irks them, and you see it in the comment section, is you're on Instagram and sending all these subliminal messages on Twitter and Instagram more than you're actually playing. So for example, Shadur Sanders. A lot of people like him, a lot of people hate him because he talks his talk. He's cocky. Some people may say, I just think he's confident, but some people label him as cocky. Well, at least when he talks his talk, he also walks the walk. With Cormani, you just got a guy talking the talk and he ain't doing nothing on the field, so it's kind of embarrassing. This is the equivalent to that old head at the park, always talking smack about how he can wax you, how back in the day he was good, but he never actually plays. I've compared the two before, and I'm going to continue to say it. Cormani McClain reminds me a ton of a Jai Hall. And it's not shocking as to why people are so captivated by the McClain situation, because It's interesting to see a guy ruin not only his career, but his livelihood in live current time. You know how we do the what happened in story documentary videos in the offseason? Well, we're pretty much just doing one in live time. We are seeing the downfall. The last time I talked about him, I thought by maybe week 3 or 4, that's when we might see him play. But the way it's looking right now, I don't think we're going to see him this year, guys. I think he's going to redshirt. That is the newest update on Mr. Cormani. I'm sure we'll talk about him again whenever we get another update, which will probably be in the offseason, so a very long time. I'm curious. Let me know your thoughts down below. But